After finding out that Michael had cheated on me with Emily, my revenge plan was set. I found the toughest lawyer, Rachel Anderson, but when I walked into her office, she had a photo of Emily in her hand. "This is the girl who's in love with your husband," she said, "and I'm gonna help you get rid of her." At that moment, I knew this wasn't gonna be a divorce case, it was gonna be the perfect revenge story. But this story actually began 3 weeks earlier. That Tuesday morning, I made Michael his coffee and sent him off to work, just like I always did. It was our routine after 14 years of marriage. A kiss, coffee, have a good day, honey, and out the door. But something was different that day. Michael kept checking his phone, and his smile, that smile bothered me. It was as if he had a secret. I ignored the first signs. After all, we had been married for 14 years. Michael worked as a marketing manager at his company, and his workload had increased recently. Or at least that's what he said. He started coming home late. He even went to the office on weekends. "Jennifer, this project is very important. I could get a promotion," he kept saying. I believed him because I loved him, and without trust, there's no marriage, right? That Wednesday evening, when I saw the credit card bill fall out of Michael's bag, my world was shattered. A $200 purchase from Victoria's Secret, but I hadn't bought anything from Victoria's Secret. My hands were shaking as I looked at the bill. The date was 3 weeks ago. That was the day Michael said he had a meeting. My heart was racing. Maybe he bought a gift for his mother. Yes, that made sense. My mother-in-law's birthday was coming up, but that uncomfortable feeling inside me wouldn't go away. The next day, after Michael left for work, I opened his laptop. His password was still the same, Jennifer to 2010, the year we got married. I felt a strange pain inside me. The fact that he hadn't changed his password made me feel a little relieved, but it also scared me. I started checking his emails. At first, there was nothing. Work emails, spam, normal stuff. But then I opened the deleted emails folder, and there I found it. "My darling Michael." The email was from someone named Emily Carter. The date was a month ago. My hands were shaking as I opened the email. "Last night was amazing. I can still feel your touch on my skin. When are you going to decide to leave Jennifer? I can't wait any longer. I love you, Emily." I couldn't breathe. It felt like someone had punched me in the chest. My 14-year marriage, everything I had defined as trust, vanished in that moment. But there was more. Michael's reply. "My dear Emily, I understand your impatience, but you need to wait a little longer. Jennifer and I got married under a prenuptial agreement. If I leave her now, she'll take half of my shares in the company. If I get promoted at the end of this year and convert my shares into cash, then we'll be secure. Just wait a few more months. Then we'll be together and Jennifer will be in the past." As I stared at the laptop screen, my eyes filled with tears. Not only had I been cheated on, but I had also been used in a calculated way. Michael was keeping me around for purely financial reasons.
That night, when Michael came home, I greeted him as if I knew nothing.
"How was your day?" I asked, as if my world hadn't been turned upside down. "It was exhausting," he said, avoiding my eyes. "I'm sorry I'm late. This project is really stressful." Inside, I thought, what project? The Emily Carter project. But I kept smiling. "No problem, honey. Dinner's in the fridge." That night, as we lay side by side in bed, Michael fell asleep immediately. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking I didn't want to cry. No, I didn't want to be sad. The feeling growing inside me was something else entirely. Anger. Cold. Calculated anger. If Michael was using me for financial reasons, I could play his game, but I would play it better. For the next week, I continued to play the role of the perfect wife. I made Michael's coffee, cooked dinner, and listened to his lies. During that time, I did some research. I found Emily Carter online. She was 25 years old and worked as a junior marketing specialist at Michael's company. She had long blonde hair and blue eyes. Of course, there were no photos of her with Michael on her Instagram account, but there were places I recognized from my home. For example, a photo from the day Michael said he was going golfing last month. Emily was in the lobby of the Four Seasons Hotel, and I noticed that Michael had charged $500 to the Four Seasons on his credit card that day. Every piece of evidence made me angrier, but it also made my plan clearer. During my internet research, I started gathering information about divorce law. Washington state had a community property regime. Michael was right, but there was an important detail. In cases of infidelity, the innocent party could be awarded compensation, especially if the innocent party could prove financial damage. And I was a very good accountant. Gathering evidence and analyzing financial statements was my area of expertise. I had read Rachel Anderson's name on a forum site as the toughest divorce lawyer in town. She shows no mercy. She makes the other side regret it. The comments said she was exactly what I was looking for. On the day of my appointment, I told Michael I was going shopping. He didn't question it. He paid so little attention to me anymore that he didn't even care what I was doing. Rachel Anderson's office was on the 25th floor of a glass skyscraper in the city's central business district. The receptionist greeted me with a smile. "Miss Turner, Rachel Anderson is expecting you." My heart was pounding as I walked down the hallway. This was the end. Once I walked through that door, there would be no turning back. I knocked on Rachel Anderson's office door.
Come in.
When I opened the door, the sight that greeted me shocked me. Rachel Anderson was a woman in her mid-30s with short black hair and piercing eyes, but that wasn't what was shocking. It was the photo on her desk. It was a photo of Emily Carter. Rachel noticed that I had seen the photo and took a deep breath. "Please sit down, Miss Turner. I think we have a long talk ahead of us." As I sat down, I couldn't get a word out. Rachel took the photo and turned it toward me. "This is my sister, Emily, and I think we're here to talk about your husband, Michael." The world seemed to spin. You're Emily's sister?" "Yes." Rachel's voice was firm and determined, and I know what Emily did. When I found out she was with a married man, that the man's wife was you, I want to put an end to this. I felt my eyes welling up. I don't know what to say. Rachel got up from her desk and came over to me. "Miss Turner, Jennifer. Can I call you Jennifer? This isn't just a divorce case. This is also a source of shame for my family. Emily is 25 years old, and she's chasing married men. This situation is harmful to both you and me. Will you help me? I'm against your sister." Rachel looked me in the eyes. "Jennifer, Emily is doing something wrong, and I've always stood on the side of right. Yes, I will help you. I'll do even more than that." "What do you mean?" Rachel returned to her desk and pulled out a file. "Emily told me everything. I know what Michael promised her, how he spoke about you, even the places they went together. We can use this information to your advantage." My heart was racing.
Is that possible?
Of course it is, but there's a price to pay. Rachel smiled, but it was a cold smile. "I want Emily out of this relationship completely, and I want Michael out of her life forever." That's exactly what I want. Then we have a deal. Rachel held out her hand. "This isn't just a divorce case, Jennifer. It's going to be the perfect revenge. Michael will realize he made the biggest mistake of his life." When I shook her hand, I felt a strange sense of relief. I wasn't alone anymore, and standing in front of me was an ally Michael never expected. "Now tell me everything," Rachel said, pulling out her notebook. "When did you first notice? What evidence do you have? And more importantly, what do you know about Michael's financial situation? For the next 2 hours, I told Rachel everything: the emails, the credit card bills, Michael's late nights, the lies. She wrote down every detail.
Perfect, she said finally. That's very strong evidence, but we can do even better.
What do you mean? Rachel smiled devilishly. Emily comes to see me every weekend. She's coming this Saturday. I'm going to tell her your story. I'll find out what Emily knows about Michael. Maybe we can make a list of all the lies Michael has told you. Will Emily help you? Emily is a very manipulated girl. I don't think Michael has told her the truth. If I understand your situation, she might feel remorseful and cooperate. This idea excited me. What if she doesn't? Then we'll move on to plan B. Rachel gathered the files, but first I want to talk to Emily. Let's meet again on Monday. Until then, don't change your behavior toward Michael. Everything should be normal.
As I left the office, my head was spinning, but I was also hopeful. For the first time in 3 weeks, I felt like I could foil Michael's plan.
When I got home, Michael wasn't there yet. Of course, he was probably with Emily, but this time I didn't care, because now I had my own plan.
When Michael came home that evening, I acted warmer than usual. "How was your day, honey?" I asked, hugging him.
Michael was surprised fine. It was fine. You seem very cheerful.
I just missed you, I said, and that was a complete lie. But considering Michael's lies, mine seemed so innocent. That night, Michael fell asleep right away. But on the other hand, was planning the future. Meeting Rachel Anderson was the greatest opportunity fate had ever given me, because revenge is a dish best served cold, and I was preparing to cook it perfectly.
I was eagerly awaiting Saturday.
Rachel's conversation with Emily would be the moment everything changed. And I couldn't wait to see the expression on Michael's face, because soon I would witness the collapse of his perfect plan.
That night, I slept for the last time as the innocent Jennifer Turner, because from tomorrow onward, I would be Jennifer Turner, the one seeking revenge.
And the best part of this story was that Michael would never see it coming. On Saturday morning, my hands were shaking as I read Rachel's message. I talked to Emily. Let's meet at my office at 10 a.m. on Monday. I have a lot to tell you. Those 2 days of waiting were torture. Michael was acting like he always did. As if nothing was wrong, on Saturday morning he said, "I'm going to play golf." Of course he was going to play golf. With Emily.
"Have fun, honey," I said, kissing him goodbye.
Inside I thought, if only you knew what was going on. After Michael left, I was alone in the house, trying to process the truth. My husband was cheating on me, and I had formed an alliance with his lawyer's sister. If this were a movie, it would be absurd. But this was real life, and everything made sense. On Monday morning, I felt sick as I headed to Rachel's office. The receptionist ushered me in immediately. There was a third person sitting at Rachel's desk, a young woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. Emily.
Jennifer, meet Emily, Rachel said coldly.
Emily stood up, her eyes welling up. I am so sorry. Michael told me something different. I tried to suppress my anger as I looked at her. This young woman had ruined my 14-year marriage. But I also understood that she had been manipulated. What did he tell you? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. Emily looked at Rachel, who nodded. Michael told me your marriage was just on paper, that you sleep in separate bedrooms, that you don't love each other anymore, and that you're going to get a divorce soon.
What else did he say? He said you were a very cold person, that you didn't understand him, and that you were only with him for his money. Emily's voice was trembling, but Rachel told me the truth. You're still a couple in love, aren't you? I forced a bitter smile.
Emily, Michael lied to you. I still love him very much, or I did. And yes, we sleep in the same bed. We have breakfast together. We talk about our days over dinner. We're a typical married couple, or we were.
Emily started crying. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to break up married men. Michael told me everything was over.
Rachel interrupted.
Emily, can you tell Jennifer exactly what Michael told you? Every detail.
For the next half hour, Emily listed every lie Michael had told her. That I was cold, that I didn't care, that I was only staying in the marriage for the money. I even learned that Michael had told her, Jennifer doesn't love me anymore, but she's afraid to divorce me because she can't survive on her own. That's ridiculous. I finally said, I've been a successful accountant for 13 years. I'm much more financially secure than Michael. I'm even the guarantor on his mortgage. Emily was shocked. You're an accountant? Michael told me you were a housewife. Of course he did. Rachel wrote something down in her notebook. Michael lied about everything, so Emily, what else did he promise you? And he said he would marry me after the divorce. We would move to California together after he sold his shares in the company. We would start a new life there. His shares in a company? I asked. Michael doesn't have any shares in the company. How can he not? Emily looked confused.
Rachel explained. Michael is the marketing director. He's a salaried employee. He doesn't own any shares. That's another lie.
Emily covered her face with her hands. So everything is a lie? Everything?
Rachel touched Emily's shoulder. Emily, I'm going to ask you to do something. You have to end your relationship with Michael, and you need to help Jennifer with her divorce case. How can I help?
First, you'll give Jennifer all the messages and emails between you and Michael. Then you'll meet with him one last time, but this time you'll record the conversation on your phone. We'll make Michael admit his lies.
Emily hesitated. But isn't that betrayal? I leaned forward. Emily, Michael has deceived both of us. He lied to you and to me. Now it's time to reveal the truth. Rachel continued. Also, Emily, did Michael give you any gifts? Restaurants? Hotels? Clothes? Yes, there are a lot, actually. Last month he bought me a very expensive necklace. It said forever with you on it.
That necklace was probably bought with my money, I said, my voice growing angry. Michael's salary isn't that high. The money he brings home comes out of our joint account.
Rachel continued taking notes. Excellent. This is proof that Michael is using our shared assets for his personal enjoyment. Emily, we may need to present this necklace as evidence in court.
Of course, I'll give you everything. I want to fix this.
We spent 2 hours making a plan. Emily would meet Michael that evening and record him on her phone.
Rachel told her what questions to ask. We would get him to describe how he felt about me, his plans for the future, and even make him admit the lies he had told me. But be careful, Emily, Rachel said. If Michael suspects anything, it will ruin everything. You have to act natural.
Emily nodded. I understand, but this is going to be really hard. I don't know how to look at him anymore.
Act, I said, just like Michael does to me. When I got home that evening, Michael hadn't arrived yet. At 7:30 p.m., he sent me a text. I'll be late. Don't wait up. Of course he would be late. He was meeting Emily, and he didn't know that Emily was now on our side. At 10:00 p.m., the phone rang. It was Rachel.
Jennifer, I have amazing news. I listened to Emily's recordings. Michael spilled everything.
What did he say?
They were cold and boring, that you're only with him for his money, that you plan to marry Emily. He even said Jennifer is so stupid she doesn't even know I'm cheating on her.
I was heartbroken but also relieved. Can this recording be used in court? One-sided recordings are legal in Washington state. Of course you can use it, but even better, Emily has his text messages. Michael wrote to her, "My plan to get rid of my wife is going perfectly." I can't believe it. Did he really talk that openly? Emily acted very well. Michael trusted her completely, so everything slipped out. He even said he wasn't in love with you at all, that he only married you for a secure life. That sentence should have hurt me deeply, but the only thing I felt was anger. So what do we do now? Now we're putting our real plan into action. Emily will send Michael a message tomorrow saying I might be pregnant.
What?
Of course she's not pregnant. But we want to see Michael's reaction. If he really plans to be with Emily, what will he do when he hears this news? Will he leave you immediately and try to run away with Emily, or will he try to distance himself from Emily? This plan was terrifying, but also very clever. No matter how Michael reacts, we win. Definitely. If he tries to run away with Emily, we'll have proof of cheating and abandonment. If he tries to distance himself from Emily, she'll have his I love you, I'll marry you messages. He'll come across as a complete scumbag. Next morning, Michael was in a great mood as he drank his coffee. It's gonna be a great day, he said.
I hope so, I said with a smile. Inside, I added, not for you.
After Michael left for work, I called Rachel. Did Emily send a message? She just did. Michael, I'm running late. I might be pregnant. We need to talk. Now we're waiting for Michael's response. Just an hour later, Rachel called again. Jennifer, you have to hear Michael's response. He wrote to Emily, "That's not possible. We were very careful. It must be a misunderstanding. Please take a test and let me know, but don't tell anyone."
That's it? He didn't suggest running away?
No, but it gets better. Emily asked him, "What if I really am pregnant?" Michael replied, "Then we'll find a solution. We don't have to tell Jennifer. We'll take care of it." A cold wave spread through me. So not only is he cheating on me, but if Emily gets pregnant, he'll keep that a secret too. Yes, and Emily asked another very smart question. She wrote, "Do you really love me?" Michael's response, "I love you, but the situation is complicated. We need to be patient until I finish my business with Jennifer." His business? Am I his business? It seems that way. But the most shocking part is this. When Emily asked what if Jennifer finds out, Michael replied, "Jennifer is too naive. She'll never figure it out. Besides, she can't survive without me." Being belittled like that didn't even surprise me anymore. So what do we do now?
Now, Emily is sending him a message saying, "False alarm, I'm not pregnant." And tonight, we'll see how Michael behaves toward you, because this stress must have really affected him.
That evening, Michael came home looking very tense. He was silent throughout dinner and kept checking his phone. "Is something wrong, honey?" I asked innocently.
No, just work stress, he said, avoiding my eyes.
"Maybe we could go on a weekend getaway," I suggested. "We haven't spent time together in ages."
Michael almost choked. "This weekend isn't possible. I'm too busy."
Of course he was busy. He was probably meeting Emily.
The next day, Rachel had great news. Jennifer, Emily met up with Michael last night, and Michael said to her, "I was so scared yesterday. If you were pregnant, everything would have been complicated. Maybe we need to take a break." So he's thinking about leaving Emily.
"It seems so," Emily asked him. "You don't love me, do you?" Michael replied, "I love you, but the situation is very complicated. Getting rid of Jennifer is harder than I thought." That sentence summed it all up. Michael was a selfish man who only thought about himself and was using both me and Emily.
Well, now we make our move.
This Saturday, when Michael says he's going golfing, you'll surprise him with Emily.
What do you mean?
Emily will tell Michael, "I want you to meet my family." And Michael will have to agree because he doesn't want to lose her. He'll be at the restaurant with Emily's sister, Rachel. This plan was perfect. What will happen when Michael sees me there?
Then Michael will realize that everything has come to light and will give him two choices. Either he stays away from Emily completely and tries to fix his marriage with you, or you divorce him and take everything he has.
The perfection of the plan mesmerized me. Would this really work?
Jennifer, this isn't just a divorce case anymore. It's time to teach Michael a lesson he'll never forget. He cheated on both of you. Now it's time for the two of you to show him the truth.
That night, as I lay in bed next to Michael, I felt like a different woman. The naive Jennifer who had learned of his infidelity 3 weeks ago was gone. In her place was a powerful Jennifer who had perfected her plan for revenge.
And on Saturday, Michael would face the biggest shock of his life. When I woke up on Saturday morning, my heart was racing. Today was the day everything would change in Michael's life, and I was ready for it. Michael was acting as usual. He was reading the newspaper at breakfast, glancing at his phone every now and then. "I'm going to play golf today," he said, as if it were an ordinary Saturday plan. "Great," I said with a smile. "I'm going out for coffee with Rachel."
Michael didn't look up. "Have fun," he said. If only he knew who Rachel was. At 10:07, the phone rang. It was Rachel.
"Jennifer, everything is going according to plan." Emily sent Michael a message. "Honey, I want you to meet my family. My sister and I are waiting for you at lunch. Bella Vista restaurant. One more." Michael accepted. Really? He didn't hesitate?
No. He even wrote to Emily. "I really want to meet your family." Of course, he doesn't know that you're his family.
Bella Vista restaurant was the most expensive and popular place in town. It was where Michael often took me. Being caught there with another woman would be the height of irony.
"I'll be there at 12:30, I told Rachel. "I'll be at the table when you arrive." Perfect. Emily is nervous but ready. This is going to be an unforgettable day for Michael.
Michael left the house at 11:30. "Bye, honey," he said, kissing me on the cheek. That kiss reminded me of the old days, but it was too late now. At 12 a.m., I started getting ready at home. I put on Michael's favorite dress, black, elegant, and sophisticated. I did my hair and makeup. I had to look strong today.
I arrived at Bella Vista at 12:25. The hostess recognized me. "Miss Turner, welcome. Is Mr. Turner waiting for you?" "No," I said with a smile. "It's a different reservation today. There is a table under the main Rachel Anderson."
Of course. I'll show you right away.
My table was right in the middle of the restaurant. Michael would see me as soon as he arrived. The waiter came and gave me the menu, but I couldn't read it. My hands were shaking with excitement. At 12:50, Rachel and Emily arrived. Emily looked very nervous, while Rachel was calm. When I saw them, I stood up. "Jennifer," said Rachel, hugging me, "are you ready?"
"I'm ready," I said, but my voice was shaking. I looked at Emily. 3 weeks ago, this young woman was my enemy. Now she was my ally. "Emily, how are you?"
"I'm so scared," said Emily in a low voice. "What will happen when Michael arrives?" "He'll learn the truth," I said firmly. At exactly 1:11 p.m., Michael walked through the restaurant door. He was handsome and confident. He looked for Emily with his eyes. He found her and smiled. But then he saw the people sitting next to us. He saw Rachel first. He was a little surprised because he didn't recognize her. Then his eyes fell on me. I will never forget the look on Michael's face. Shock, fear, panic, guilt, all at once. His face turned white. He stood there, not knowing what to do.
Emily stood up and waved to him. "Michael, come here. Meet my family."
Michael walked toward the table with robotic movements. His eyes were fixed on me. "Jennifer, what are you doing here?" "Sit down, Michael," I said calmly. "We have a lot to talk about."
Michael slumped into a chair. I don't understand what's going on here."
Rachel interrupted. "I'm Rachel Anderson, Emily's sister and Jennifer's lawyer."
Michael's eyes widened. "Her lawyer?"
"Yes, Michael," I said. "I'm her divorce lawyer, and we know everything about your relationship with Emily." Emily took Michael's hand. "Michael, I didn't know my sister and Jennifer were friends, but when they met, everything came out." I finished the sentence. Michael couldn't find the words. "Jennifer, I can explain. It's not what it seems." "It's not what it seems?" Rachel took out her phone. Then what is this recording, Michael? Michael's voice could be heard on the phone. Jennifer is so stupid. She doesn't even know I'm cheating on her.
The other customers at the table started looking over. Michael's face turned bright red. Stop, don't play it here, Michael said, panicking.
Why? I asked. Are the things you said really that embarrassing?
Rachel stopped the recording. That's just one, Michael. All your conversations with Emily are recorded. Every lie you told Jennifer, every promise you made to Emily, everything.
Michael turned to Emily. You recorded me? Emily shook her head, her eyes filling with tears. Michael, you lied to me so many times. That Jennifer was cold, that she didn't love you, that she was a housewife. It was all a lie.
Michael couldn't finish his sentence. Before we talk about the lies you told Emily, I said, let's talk about the lies you told me. For example, this morning you said you were going to play golf, but in reality, you came to meet Emily. Michael looked around helplessly. Jennifer, please. We can talk about this at home. No, Michael. We'll talk about this in this restaurant. Because how many times have you brought me to this restaurant? 20 times? 30 times? And now you're meeting another woman here. The waiter came to take their order, but Rachel said, please wait a moment. Michael turned to Emily. Emily, why did you do this? I love you.
Really? Emily raised her voice. Didn't you say last night, maybe we need a break?
That was different.
Different how, Michael?
Emily took out her phone. This message, getting rid of Jennifer, is harder than I thought.
Noises began to come from the surrounding tables. People were paying attention to our table.
Rachel interrupted. Michael, we are offering you two options.
What options?
Option 1, you end your relationship with Emily completely. You apologize to Jennifer. You go to marriage counseling and try to make up for your mistake. Michael looked hopeful. Second option? Second option, Jennifer divorces you and takes everything. The evidence of your affair is presented in court. All your messages, voice recordings, and photos with Emily are used as evidence. Additionally, since it is proven that you used joint property in your relationship with Emily, Jennifer gets 70% of the marital assets.
Michael's face turned pale. Is that possible?
Very possible, said Rachel. Washington State is very strict when it comes to infidelity, especially when the cheating party used joint property for their lover.
Emily took off her necklace. This necklace was a gift from Michael. It says forever with you on it. It was bought with Jennifer's money. Michael saw the necklace and buried his face in his hands. Jennifer, please. I really made a mistake, but I love you.
Do you love me? My voice was cold. Didn't you text Emily this morning saying, I love you, but things are complicated?
That was just to reassure her. So telling me last night that it was just work stress was to reassure me. You were going crazy when Emily said she might be pregnant.
Emily interrupted. Michael, you told me we don't have to tell Jennifer. We'll handle this. So if I was pregnant, you wouldn't tell Jennifer.
Michael couldn't answer because everything was true and there was no escape.
Rachel leaned over the table. Michael, it's time to make a decision. Will you promise me that you'll end your relationship with Emily right now? Michael looked at Emily. Her eyes were filled with tears. Michael, I don't want to be with you anymore. You're a married man, and you cheated on your wife. I can't be in a relationship like this. Emily, but I really love you.
No, Michael, you don't love anyone. You only love yourself.
These words cut Michael deeply. But they were true. Jennifer, Michael said, turning to me, if I end my relationship with Emily, will you forgive me?
I had been waiting for this question, but my answer was ready.
Michael, I trusted you during our 14 years of marriage. I loved you. We built a home together, and you betrayed that trust by lying to me every day, cheating on me, planning a future with another woman. But it can change. No, Michael. Because you only kept me around for financial reasons. You told Emily Jennifer can't survive without me. You'll soon learn how wrong that was. Rachel pulled out some documents. Michael, you're going to sign two things right now. The first is an agreement that you are ending your relationship with Emily. The second is a preliminary agreement that you accept Jennifer's terms for the divorce.
Divorce terms. But I agreed to go to marriage counseling.
It's too late, Michael, I said. I don't want to stay married to you anymore. You've lost my respect and trust. That this you planned with Emily will be my future, but not with you.
Michael looked at everyone at the table. You planned this. This is a trap.
A trap. Emily stood up. Michael, I loved you, but you lied to me. You told me Jennifer was a bad person, that she didn't love you. But the truth is, while you were cheating on me with Jennifer, you were also deceiving me. And now, said Rachel, it's time to face the consequences.
Michael looked at the documents. If I don't sign,
Then we'll go to court. There you'll face much worse conditions. Because in court, the jury will hear all the voice recordings, messages, and see the photos taken with Emily.
Michael's hand was shaken. This isn't fair.
Isn't it fair? I raised my voice. Was it fair for you to lie to me for 14 years? Was it fair for you to tell Emily that I was a bad person? Was it fair for you to plan to live the life we built together with another woman? The restaurant had fallen completely silent. Everyone was watching our table. Michael picked up the pen. Jennifer, I'm asking you one last time. Will you really never forgive me? Michael, forgiving and forgetting are two different things. Maybe one day I'll forgive you, but I will never be with you again. Michael signed the documents. The first document was an agreement that his relationship with Emily had ended. The second document was a preliminary agreement accepting the terms of the divorce. After signing, Michael looked at me. Does this make you happy, Jennifer?
Happy? I thought. No, Michael. This doesn't make me happy, but it makes me feel free.
Emily turned to Michael.
Michael, I thought you were a good person, but I was wrong. I hope you learn from this.
Rachel gathered the documents. Michael, you will have no further contact with Jennifer. The divorce proceedings will be handled by lawyers.
Michael stood up. I'm leaving.
Michael, I said, one more thing. I won't be home tonight. You can come pick up your things tomorrow, but I won't be there. Michael nodded and left the restaurant. I watched him go. My 14-year marriage was ending as he walked out that door. Emily was crying. Jennifer, I'm so sorry. I really didn't know. Emily, I said, holding her hand, you're a victim too. Michael deceived all of us. Rachel smiled. That was one of the best confrontations ever. Michael couldn't get away with it. So what happens now? I asked. Now you start your new life. You'll live the future Michael planned for you, but it will be so much better. That night, I stayed at Rachel's house. The next morning, Emily called. Jennifer, Michael called. He wants to try to make things right with you. What should I tell him?
Emily, tell Michael it's too late. He should talk to my lawyer now. And just like that, Michael's perfect plan had fallen apart. While he was dreaming of a happy future with Emily, I was about to find true happiness.
On Monday morning, I woke up to sunlight streaming into Rachel's house. It was the first time I'd slept peacefully in 3 weeks. The phone was ringing constantly, but I didn't answer it. It was probably Michael. Rachel was making coffee when she said with a smile, "You missed 12 calls. They were all from Michael." I'm not talking to him anymore, I said firmly. He has nothing left to say. Good decision, but you might want to listen to his messages. They're very interesting. First message, Jennifer, please pick up the phone. We need to talk. It can't end like this.
Second message. Jennifer, I really messed up, but I love you. Please give me another chance. Third message. Jennifer, what happened with Emily meant nothing. You're the love of my life. The fourth message had a different tone, more desperate. Jennifer, you're not home. I don't know where you are. Please come home. Let's talk. Fifth message. Who is Rachel Anderson? Why did you team up with her? Jennifer, that woman is using you.
The sixth message was completely different. Angry. Jennifer, don't overreact like this. Men make mistakes. But you're not perfect either. Seventh message. Why am I the only one at fault? You weren't romantic at all in recent years.
The eighth message was back to groveling Jennifer. I'm sorry, that last message was wrong. Please come home.
The ninth message. Jennifer, did I get your things? Where are you staying? This is ridiculous.
The 10th message, Emily rejected me. She said she'll do anything to get you back. Jennifer, was this all your plan? 11th message, I looked up Rachel Anderson. She's the toughest divorce lawyer in town. Jennifer, are you really gonna divorce me? 12th message, Jennifer, please, don't end our 14-year marriage like this. I'll change. Rachel shook her head as she listened to the messages. Classic cheating man behavior. First begging, then blaming, then begging again.
None of this works on me anymore, I said, and it really didn't. It was as if Michael's voice was coming from a completely different past. That morning, I went home. I felt safe because Michael was at work. But the sight of the house shocked me. Everything was a mess. Michael had clearly had a nervous breakdown. A broken glass, scattered books, drawers open. I took some clothes from our bedroom. But what really surprised me was what Michael had put on his nightstand, all the gifts Emily had given him. A necklace, photos, letters. It was as if he wanted me to see them.
There was a handwritten note on the table. Jennifer, I've ended everything with Emily. These gifts are yours. If you want, throw them away. Let's just talk, please, Michael.
I tore up the note. It was too late. That afternoon, we went to Rachel's office. Jennifer, Michael's lawyer, called. They want to review the agreement.
What do they mean?
Michael has had a change of heart. He wants to withdraw the agreement. He wants to go to court. This news worried me. What if we lose in court? Rachel laughed. Jennifer, you're forgetting what we have. The voice recordings, the messages, the witness statements. Michael will be in even worse shape in court. So what do we do?
We're giving him one last chance. He'll be here this afternoon. He'll apologize to you and sign the agreement. Or we'll go to court.
At 3:00 p.m., Michael arrived. He looked terrible. His hair was messy. His eyes were sunken. And he hadn't shaved. He didn't look like the Michael I had known for 14 years.
Jennifer, he said, tears in his eyes. Please listen to me. I'm listening. Michael, I made a huge mistake. What happened with Emily was a moment of madness. You're the only love of my life. Michael, you've been with Emily for 3 months. That's not a moment of madness. But I really love you.
Rachel interrupted. Michael, your relationship with Emily wasn't just about sex. Have you forgotten the lies you told Jennifer? You said she was cold, that you didn't love her, that you were only with her for her money. Michael hung his head. I was just trying to impress Emily.
You belittled your wife to impress Emily. I was shocked. Michael, who are you really?
I'm your husband. I've been your husband for 14 years. No, I said firmly. You're a stranger who's lived with me for 14 years. Because the Michael I knew wouldn't do things like that.
Michael started crying. Jennifer, whatever I need to do, I'll do anything.
Do you have a time machine? What?
Can you turn back time? Can you take back the lies you told Emily about me? Can you take back the nights you lied to me every day? Michael couldn't answer. Rachel pulled the documents out of the drawer. Michael signed the agreement. Or we're gonna court.
I can get better terms in court.
Really? Rachel took out her phone. In court, I'm going to play this recording in front of the jury. Jennifer is so stupid, she doesn't even know I'm cheating on her. When the jury hears those words, how much alimony do you think they'll award Jennifer?
Michael's face turned pale.
Also, Rachel continued, Emily will testify in court. She'll tell them all the lies you told her. The truth will come out that you said Jennifer is a bad person, that you don't love her, and that you're only with her for financial reasons.
Emily won't do that.
At that moment, there was a knock at the door. Emily entered. Hello, Michael, Emily said in a cold voice.
Michael was stunned. Emily, what are you doing here?
Michael, you kept calling me last night. You said I've left Jennifer. We can be together now. But I clearly told you no.
Emily, you loved me. I loved you, Michael, but you lied to me. You manipulated me by saying Jennifer was a bad person.
Rachel handed Emily a document. Emily, will you sign your court statement? Emily read the document and signed it. Michael, I will testify in court on Jennifer's behalf because you deceived both her and me.
Michael collapsed. You're all against me.
No, Michael, I said. You're against yourself. You put yourself in this situation with the choices you made. Michael leaned over the table and signed the papers. Jennifer, I hope you're happy. I will be happy, Michael, without you.
Michael left the office. Emily looked at him and said, Michael has changed so much. It's like he's a different person.
People reveal their true character when they're under pressure, said Rachel. The following week, the divorce proceedings began officially.
Michael tried one last move. He came with his lawyer and claimed that Jennifer had subjected him to psychological abuse.
That Rachel was prepared. She presented the messages Michael had sent to Emily to the court. The message, getting rid of Jennifer is harder than I thought, was particularly effective. The judge rejected Michael's claims. Mr. Turner, your own statements show that you cheated on your wife and manipulated her. Michael's lawyer objected, but it was to no avail. The evidence was too strong. The court proceedings lasted 2 months. During that time, Emily and I became friends. She understood how Michael's manipulation had affected her.
Jennifer, Emily said one day, I hated you without even knowing you because of what Michael said, but you are a very strong and kind woman.
Emily, you were also a victim. Michael used all of us. When the court decision was announced, my life completely changed. The house was mine, 40% of Michael's salary would be paid to me. As alimony, 70% of our joint savings remained mine. But the most surprising thing was the news that Michael had been fired. The company believed that a scandal involving an employee's marriage had damaged its image. Rachel called me and said Michael lost his job. The company terminated him for unethical behavior. This wasn't something I expected. Jennifer, when the company found out about Michael's relationship with Emily, they realized they couldn't trust him because if a man cheats on his wife, he could cheat on the company too.
This news saddened me. I wanted revenge, but I didn't want Michael's life to be completely destroyed.
But life went on. I moved into my new home, a fresh start free of Michael's memories. 3 months later, I received an unexpected call from Emily. Jennifer, Michael is trying to get in touch with me. What should I do? What does he want?
He's apologizing, and he wants another chance. But I don't want anything to do with him anymore.
You're making the right decision, Emily. Don't believe Michael has changed. But he seems so desperate. He can't find a job. He's been evicted. Emily, Michael's situation isn't your fault. He's living with the consequences of his own choices. A year later, my life had completely changed. I started a new job and opened my own accounting office. Emily and I remained friends. Rachel and I had also developed a strong friendship. I rarely heard from Michael. He had moved to another city and was working at a small company. He was paying child support regularly, but his standard of living had dropped significantly.
One day, I ran into Michael at the supermarket. He looked very thin and tired.
Jennifer, he said hesitantly.
Hello, Michael. You look so good.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for everything I did. I looked at him. This man had once been my life. Now he was a complete stranger.
Michael, I forgive you, but that doesn't change the past. I know, I'm just so sorry I lost you.
Michael, you didn't lose me. You chose to lose me.
That day, I called Emily.
Emily, I ran into Michael.
How was he?
He looked sad, but he doesn't affect me anymore. Jennifer, you're a very strong woman. Michael losing you is his loss. That night, as I looked in the mirror, I thought about the Jennifer from a year ago. That naive woman who didn't even realize she was being cheated on was gone. In her place was a strong, independent woman who knew her own worth.
Michael cheating on me felt like the end of my life, but it was actually the beginning of the real Jennifer.
The next week, Rachel called. Jennifer, I have amazing news.
What?
Michael's old company is suing him. They're accusing him of misusing company property. He used the company credit card during his meetings with Emily. This is serious. Very serious. Michael has been lying about everything from the start. Even the promotion story at the company was a lie. He was actually about to be fired because of his poor performance.
This news didn't surprise me. Michael had no limits when it came to lying.
So what happens now? Michael will most likely go to jail, and he'll owe you the child support he owes you. Jail? That wasn't something I was expecting. Jennifer, you're not responsible for Michael ending up in this situation. He got himself into this mess with his own choices. She was right. I had just uncovered the truth. I didn't push Michael into crime. 2 years later, Emily got married. She invited me to her wedding. Jennifer, you saved my life, she said on her wedding day. If I had stayed with Michael, my life would have been ruined.
You saved my life too, Emily. Without those voice recordings, Michael might have run away.
Rachel was also at the wedding. You two make a great team, she said with a smile. You were very successful in foiling Michael's plan. That night, sitting alone at home, I thought about 3 years ago. Michael's plan was perfect. He was going to use me and run away with Emily. But the alliance between two women had completely ruined his plan. And now Emily was happy. I was free.
Michael, on the other hand, Michael was living with the consequences of his actions. The best part of this story was that revenge was a dish, best served cold, and I had cooked it perfectly. The day I found out Michael had cheated on me, I said my revenge plan was ready. But in reality, I hadn't made the perfect revenge plan. Life had. Because Michael's greatest punishment was realizing the value of what he'd lost too late. And I wasn't the Jennifer he'd lost anymore. I was the new, strong, happy Jennifer. And this wasn't the end of the story, it was the beginning of my new life.